So it's there.
Our spirit. What is it? Where does it go? Are we able to see them using our mind's eye? If so, just what can spirit teach us? Welcome to Schooled Thru Spirit. Host DeEtte Ranae is a certified psychic medium and master teacher of psychic and mediumship development through LWISSD. DeEtte was born knowing spirit and now is here to help you better understand the spirit world. And now your host, DeEtte Ranae.
Good Monday morning, everybody. This is DeEtte here on Schooled Thru Spirit with WLTK-DB.com. I'm going it alone today. And why? Because there's a huge storm where, my producer and the station is, and it kind of wiped out a lot. They got power, but now they're taking them offline again just because of the fact that they had to do a lot of just fixing of stuff. So you've got me. So if I'm like, oh, a little bit, it's because I'm answering comments, doing this. I'm doing everything behind the scenes and in front of it. So it's awesome. Oh my God. Good morning, Keith and Kevin and Michelle. And good morning, Lisa and Salone. And good morning, Tim. Oh my God. No, I don't take a deep breath. We already know that. Todd needs to breathe. That's what it is. Todd needs to. So I'm going to, you know what? I got to share this to a few places. So while I'm doing it, normally I'm sharing while the intro is playing, and I wasn't doing that. I was being me and not paying attention. So I'm going to do a little bit of sharing here, and then we're going to talk about our topic today because it's just so much fun. And I love to do that. But you know what? I'm hoping in the midst of everything, y'all had a great weekend. So you're going to have to kind of spit out to me if you had a good weekend or not. I know I had an amazing weekend. I was at a local store here and I did some readings and I did, oh my God, there it is. I thought Facebook was taken from me again. I did some wonderful readings and then, oh my gosh, I got to teach yesterday. And I love to teach, guys. It's such a passion just to watch people just, wow, it's amazing. So I had a phenomenal weekend. Phenomenal weekend. So I hope everybody else did also. I think I've shared enough. Good morning, Lee. How is the hand? I'm not wearing my brace anymore, Keith. I'm supposed to wear it once in a while, but I'm really sucking at that. I went to a soft brace and now it's just kind of like being very careful. So that's what I'm doing. So Lee, it was a terrible week. Oh, I'm sorry, hon. Is it because of the storm or something else? I'm sorry to hear that, though. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So let's, you know what? While I'm waiting for Lee to answer back, I want to kind of talk about something today. And as you guys know, I go to Neil Diamond Walsh and I looked at him and I will tell you what, his message today rang so true. And I'm going to tell you a little story about that. I want to read his message, though, if I can get into my phone. That's literally the criteria, getting into my phone, which these days has been a little difficult because I can't even figure out where anything is anymore in my phone. It's like, oh, where is my emails at? I don't even know where my emails. It's that kind of a morning, guys. I rearranged things in my phone, and you know what? I guess I lost my emails. It's never good. It's never good. Oh, that should be fun. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, let me go to my emails up here on the regular computer because I really want to read this to you because it's insanely awesome. It's insanely awesome what he wrote. And that's if everything's just not working out for anybody today. It really isn't. But basically, until this pops up, it's like I'm not supposed to read it or something. But what it's about, guys, is basically is it coming up? It's not coming up. Now I gotta find you guys. So basically, what he said was that everybody has a place in this world, and at every given time, you have got a reason to bring something up. Okay, you have a purpose. There's a reason for you. That type of a situation. There's a reason for the things that you do in life, which to me was just like a holy cow, like wow, very profound to me. Okay. Very, 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 very profound. And it's only because I think a lot of times stuff happens in my life and I don't always pay attention. But you know what? This weekend I was paying attention to that. Finally got into my account. Let's see if I can get, um, let me see if I can get to what he posted. Oh my gosh, no, not even close. So basically, in the whole scheme of everything, with everything has a reason. You contribute to everything, in your life. You're a contributor, okay, and that's huge, because so many people we look through our life, and we're contributors every day. This isn't like once in a while. This isn't oh my gosh when I kind of get my crap together, anything like that. We are contributors all the time within our life, okay. Um, Looks good. Oh my God, my whole computer's just like, I think gone crazy. I think it's gone crazy. It's making me do all these extra steps. And I'm like, why are you making me do all these extra steps? Um, Here it is. I finally got to it, guys. Oh my God. Can you tell I get this OCD thing going? It's like I can't get off of it. So what he wrote today is that you have something important to contribute to the world today. Every day. God sends you one person for whom you will hold a gift in your hand. You will not know what it is until that person greets you, but you will then know it immediately. The only questions remaining will you give your gift? Right then and there, fully and completely. By the end of the day, you'll know why you received this message. Now, to me, guys, that is just good morning, Stephanie. Oh, Lee, thank you. My brother in law. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry for your loss. Oh, wow. I'm sorry, sweetie. That is so horrible for your family. I'm sending prayers, darling. Okay. So when you're a gift, I want to kind of, I think all of us kind of go on this whole thing. We're always waiting for that special thing that we get to do, or that purpose or that reason for whatever. And I'll tell you what, I had a really good example of this, and it's a huge example and something that I'm still regretting. Huge. It's no secret that I always say spirit dresses me on days that I have to do things. If I have to teach or I'm at an event or I'm away, whatever. If I got to do stuff in life, and it has anything to do with spirit, I ask spirit to dress me. And what I mean by that, I mean, they don't come in and put my clothes on me, but I ask them to tell me um, what I should wear. What is appropriate for the situation. And they put this outfit on me, which I love. I love the outfit, but the sweater's like 3 sizes too big because I literally bought it before I had surgery, and I wore the sweater to go to the hospital for surgery, and I've really only wore the sweater maybe once or twice since because the sweater's too big. I really should donate the sweater, but I haven't. And they told me to wear this outfit with this sweater, and I'm like, "Okay," and it's just a pullover sweater, guys, so it's not like I have to take the thing off, anything hard. And I went, "You know what? Good morning, Miss Courtney." I went, I want to wear this Sunday. And they went, you're going to wear it Saturday. And I went, no, this is really laid back. Rather wear it Sunday while I'm teaching versus because when I do readings, I like to look a little nicer. And they argued with me. And I have learned really pretty much not to argue with my guides. Okay. Because I don't win anyway. I don't win. So I might as well listen to them. So I went, fine. There's a reason why you want me. There's the outfit. There's a reason why you want the sweater. I mean, the whole 10 yards. And when I first got there yesterday, somebody looks at him and goes, oh my God, you look so good, blah, blah. I was like, thank you, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Just very, very appreciative of it. But literally somebody throughout the day said something about the sweater. And I explained to him that, how I dress, spirit dresses me. And I said, I know somebody throughout this day, for whatever reason, wants a sweater or it's really going to affect somebody's life. And I'm not kidding you, but like 3 or 4 people later, this lady walks in and goes, oh my God, I love your sweater. I said, well, thank you. And she goes, when we're done doing the rating, I'm going to buy your sweater. And I thought to myself, when we're done with this reading, I'm going to give you the sweater, because you are the reason why I'm wearing this today. And literally we did the reading. I was chilled. I didn't know why I was chilled. I walked out of the office that we were reading in that was really warm. We walked out to the thing because I was going to take the sweater off in the lobby and give it to her. And I was instantly freezing. It was so cold. And I thought, I can't take this. I got a short sleeve. I can't go without something on because I'm cold. So I didn't do what I knew in my heart I was supposed to do. And it's been 2 days, and I'm still regretting that decision. I'm still regretting it, and I'm praying that, you know what, I have the opportunity to see her again, and I can give this to her, okay? Because I know this is something that would have made her day. This would have brightened her eyes. This would have made it put a smile on her face. And the funny thing is the lady's tiny, so this sweater been 4 sizes too big for her, but who really cares? It's the gesture anyway. But that's what it's about, guys. You know, that every day every single day, we have an opportunity to give a gift to somebody else. It doesn't have to be your clothes. Okay. It doesn't have to be your clothes. Sometimes it's a smile. Sometimes it's a handshake. Sometimes it's a, gosh, I'm praying for you. So, whatever. I believe in you. Giving somebody your time to just sit there and listen. Every day we have a gift for somebody, every single day. And it's mind blowing how many, especially when you pay attention, how many gifts you give away in a single day. I mean, have you ever just walked around just smiling all day or, I can remember years ago, and this has been years, it's 2016. Oh, I got balls rolling. Sorry. Um, 2016. And I only remember the day or the year because it's the year I certified. And I was in San Antonio, Texas when I certified. Beautiful city, guys. Gorgeous. Wow. Amazing city. I love San Antonio. It was also my first real experience with homelessness. Real experience with it. And not that I wasn't aware that we had people that were homeless and I watched on TV, I watched a lot of videos. I've driven past people that, are requesting money. I've stopped and given people money, all of that. But when I was in San Antonio for my certification, we were staying at I believe it's the Granger. It's the most haunted hotel there is, I think, in America. I'm not quite sure, but definitely Texas. And we walked from the Granger over to the hotel that the class was in. And by gosh, it was a 20 to 30-minute walk every morning. And not a bad walk. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. But in the morning was my encounters with homelessness. I mean, literally walking over people, walking over people and just seeing them, sleep in doorways. And to me, it was just so incredibly sad. But I remember we had stopped at McDonald's on the way through to get something to eat. And we ate inside McDonald's and I had my coffee and I walked out the door with my coffee and I'd only had a couple of sips off of it. And I had no cash. I only had my cards on me. And this homeless gentleman looks at me. He goes, by chance, do you have any change? I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't. He goes, do you have an extra coffee? And I literally just handed him my coffee. I'm like, it's all I have. And the biggest smile, he just had the biggest, hugest smile. Um, and I will tell you, that was my first time ever encountering that feeling of being able to do something for somebody else. Something so small, something so small. And ever since then, so for what, 8 years now, it's not that I always hand people something, but I do take the time to listen. I take the time to go, this is 5 minutes out of my day. You know, I have a lot of people that get a hold of me and they'll go, "Oh my gosh, I just need to talk to you right now," whatever. And trust me, I am always elbow deep in something crazy, some kind of craziness. And I'm always like, "Yep, let's do this." And I literally drop whatever I do it and I call them or I will tell them, "Give me like 2 minutes," because whatever it is, they need that couple of minutes. They need that couple of minutes to vent or to cry or, whatever it might be. And by the time we get off phone, which is usually within 5 minutes, if that, they're like, "Thank you for just taking the time for me." And sometimes that's the gift, guys, just giving somebody the time. when we take those opportunities, when we take those opportunities for other people, I'm going to tell you, yeah, we do a lot for other people. Because, everybody wants that. We all want that extra little bit. And it's incredible when we do that. But what it gives back to you, it gives you a purpose, a daily purpose, sometimes every hour purpose, but it gives you a purpose. And I think in the world, that's what we all really want is just a purpose. Um, Sorry, I don't know what just happened. Doo-doo-doo. There we go. Sorry, something like flipped up on my computer. I don't know what's going on. Oh my God, I need to get back to you guys. There we go. Sorry. Something flipped and just blocked everything. I thought I lost you guys. But it does. It gives you guys an individual purpose. And who doesn't want that? I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I'm greedy when it comes to that. I want to wake up in the morning and I want to know that my life is going to be for a reason today. I want to know when I wake up that the reason I woke up was, for somebody else. I want to know that I'm important today. I don't ever want a day that goes by that goes, um, oh, thank you, Lee. I don't ever want a day that goes by that I feel like my day was worthless. You know, now that doesn't mean that I have to get up and work, work, work all day. My workload versus whatever else literally has nothing to do with my life. I mean, granted, I have a lot of it, but that doesn't make my life. That doesn't make my purpose. Okay. My purpose is literally to wake up and say, hey, I'm here and I'm here for somebody else, whether it's my grandbabies or my family or a student or a client or a friend. Some people have told me the fact that I just get up and get on the show, that sometimes that's a lot for people. And that's worth it to me. Like today, I had the opportunity to say, oh, station's down. No, don't need to do this. Say goodbye. I'm going to take a break today. And I literally went in my head. I went to my guest. And I went, this is important to my guest. And I thought about all of you. And I went, this is important to all of you. And I thought about everybody that downloads the show every week. And I went, this is important to them. They look forward to this for whatever reason. So I need to show up for that. And then it made me feel like, wait a second, this is maybe my purpose for today. Now, I know I'll have other ones. I'll have other reasons to show up today and other gifts to give people. But this is the beginning of it. This is literally just the start of this is what I'm doing. And I want you guys to think about that throughout your daily routine. Do you take the time to smile at somebody when you walk by them? Do you even make eye contact? I mean, sometimes that's that simple. Is just to when you're in a store, you're at Walmart or the grocery store, and we look through people, we look by people, we don't acknowledge people. Think about how they feel when you look up and you look somebody directly in the eye. You acknowledge them. Maybe give a little smile. That's huge. I mean, guys, that is huge to people. It's huge to me. I can go into a store and I am so enthralled when I see somebody that makes eye contact and they just keep that eye contact because they know I exist. And that's like that makes my day. They don't even have to smile. They just look at me. They make me wonder what they're thinking about. They give me a purpose for that moment. And it's phenomenal. So then I think when I do that to somebody else, how does it make somebody else feel? Yeah, Courtney, saying hi, seeing their faces light up. Because we go through this lifetime, guys, not acknowledging people. We go through this lifetime feeling like we're just not seen, like we're not important. Yeah, we go home and we're important to our families. But sometimes it's really nice to know that we're important outside of the family unit too, outside of the house, you know? And it's incredible. Jeff, it said it for years. You never know what people are going through. So just let me be nice to be. Yeah, exactly. And that is so true. That is so true. So I want you guys to spend the time thinking about saying, hey, how do I do this for people? How do I make a difference? You know, you don't have to be a medium to make a difference. You don't have to, you don't have to do psychic readings to make a difference. You don't have to be Mother Teresa to make a difference. I mean, great examples of people, but really it is us every day doing what we do and being normal people that we make a difference. And I want to challenge you all. I want to challenge you that for this week, that every day you give a gift every day. And that day might just be, you know what, staring somebody in the eyes, acknowledging they're there, smiling, holding the door for the old lady. And I mean, old lady is anybody older than you. You don't have to say grandma, you know what I mean? But anybody, just being that really polite person, the way your mom and dad might have taught you to do it. Holding the doors, giving somebody else the right of way instead of rushing past some. Because I'll tell you what, when we rush past somebody, we're only saving about what, 3 seconds of your life versus stopping waiting for somebody else to go through. Because even something that small is a huge gesture to people. It's not about just giving up your seat in the bus, guys. It's so much bigger. It's so much greater. It's really enlightening to see all that. And then I'm going to push you past it a little further because once you start doing that this week, when you start to make a difference in all these people's lives, then I want you to start hearing spirit. Yeah, I giggled because I want you to start hearing spirit. I want you to hear when they say, hey, do this or do that. And you go, okay, freely, I'm just going to do this or I'm going to do that. And I want you to freely do that. I want you to listen because trust me, when you hear those things or you do those things, you're doing it for a reason. And it really is no skin off your back. I mean, for myself, other than like I said, the reason why I'm regretting not handing over my sweater this weekend. I mean, honestly, the lady probably would have put it in her closet. Probably never would have looked at it again, but it would have made a difference in her life. And who cares if I would have been chilly? I didn't think of those things until she was gone. And trust me, 15 minutes later, when the next reading was done, I went out looking for her and she was gone. And I was like, damn, I had such a huge opportunity to make a difference and I didn't do it. So I want you guys to literally take that moment to realize what else you can do for somebody, what gift you can get, what way you can brighten somebody's life, what way you can put somebody in a different frame of mind. Because honestly, guys, when these things are happening, the people you're doing to, they're either feeling blasé or maybe they're having a bad day or maybe something horrific has happened to them and they just need that small opportunity. The biggest thing though in all of this isn't even how the other person feels. The biggest thing in all of this is literally you believing in yourself and believing that you have something to give. And then it ends up being really huge, isn't it? You showing up to the plate and you going, wait a second, I have something to give. I am worthy. That ends up being huge, isn't it? Because we never look at that aspect. You know, I've spent 20 minutes talking about giving and giving and giving. But I think one of the reasons why we don't do that is because sometimes we don't feel like we're worthy. Hi, Paula. So look at yourself and know you're worthy. Know that Spirit has given you that beautiful ability to show up, to have value, and to give to somebody else. That's huge. That's two gifts in one. All of a sudden, it's like, wait a second. Wow, they put the power in my hands. Somebody thought I was worthy to do this for somebody else. To me, that's mind blowing. It's always twofold, guys. It's always twofold. Good morning, Miss Sherry. Yeah, it's a very powerful message today they gave us, huh? Oh my gosh, Keith, I can't wait for you to sign up. It's going to be an incredible class. Okay, guys. Well, with that being said, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to bring in my beautiful guest, Maggie. Maggie was going to be on a few weeks ago. And I screwed up, guys. I admitted it last time. I'm going to admit it again. I screwed up. Who knew 2 months would have the same Monday with the same day? I mean, come on. You know what I mean? So I gave her one date, and when I flipped over my calendar, I wrote it down on another total different month. Same Monday, different month, same date. And I can't say how apologetic I have been. And I truly hope, I hope that you guys, forgive me for that. So I'm finding the commercial. This is taking a minute. Oh my gosh, guys, running my own show is like, I need to make sure I get the right commercial. Do do do. I may not be as good at this as Todd kind of thought I would be. All I'm seeing is intros. Oh my god. Okay, sponsored ad. Okay, I don't know which.
Want to see your video here? Sponsor WLTK-DB Talk Radio and watch us make that happen. With your paid sponsorship of $80, you receive a professional produced audio, video, and banner placement on our station. Not only does your sponsorship air during our live shows, but also replayed on our podcast and heard by hundreds of like-minded people. Visit WLTK-DB.com to get started and find out just how hard we work to get you noticed.
Welcome back to everybody. This is DeEtte here on Schooled Thru Spirit with WLTK-DB.com. That was the ad I was supposed to play next. I found the ad I was supposed to play now, and we're just flip-flopping. That's all we're doing. We're doing flip-flopping. Everybody's like, great job, you got this. I do. But with that being said, I've got Miss Maggie Spaulding here today. She's this beautiful author. I've been wanting to bring her on just to kind of bring through everything that she has to say. I'm going to let her introduce herself a little bit further with that because I don't want to screw this up. Let's welcome Miss Maggie. Hi, Maggie.
Hi, how are you? Thank
I'm
you.
doing fabulous. Thank you for your patience with getting on with me. And I'm going to apologize. I'm so sorry. So sorry.
Actually, it worked out fine. So,
Okay. I actually went back over there. I'm like, how did I do that? I've never done that. And then I'm like, both months have the same date. I was like, there's just no way. How could that happen? So beautiful. So Miss Maggie, you're an author. I love this. I love this. I want to hear about your journey and up to the book. How did you start this crazy journey? How did this happen for you?
Well, first of all, you can see I have my book right here. It's called Melodies of Grief, written in the key of love. And it actually, it's a part memoir and part self-help. It actually talks about my journey, my healing of my grief journey after my youngest son, Mitchell, who died of an accidental overdose at the age of 27. And it was that event that actually triggered this, or I would like to say catapult me into this inspired quest about learning more about life after death, learning more about who I am, learning more about spirit, learning more about the gifts that I had within me that I didn't know I had. And so this kind of documents my journey, my spiritual awakening journey from the moment of my son's transition, death, physical death, I should say, because we all know that life does go on. Life continues on, just in a different form.
Right.
And for me, that was all new concepts. I mean, I didn't really have a belief of life after death. I mean, and so when I first started to feel connected and feel feelings and start to hear things, I started to wonder, could this possibly be Mitch? I definitely wanted to establish a connection with him.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, like I said, it was his physical death that caused that trigger that catapulted me onto this journey. And it was very difficult at the beginning. Most people, can't even imagine. I know I never imagined me losing a child. I have 3 sons, and so he was the youngest,
I could imagine that. Yeah.
and it's and unfortunately, society doesn't really do a very good job of talking about life after death, about talking about how to handle the emotions of grief, because
Mm.
you are so overwhelmed with them.
Yeah.
And you just don't know where to turn to. And most of my friends, in fact, all of my friends and my family, nobody really was a good source of information for me. I mean, I was the first one, so I felt very alone, even though my husband with me,
Mhm.
we were alone in different ways. Men and women grieve differently,
Yeah.
and one of the things, and I'm going to talk about several things that helped me to get onto this journey to help understand what was happening inside of me.
Right.
It was after my son's funeral, and that's the other thing I talk in my book about. There are there's nothing in any parenting magazines about how to plan a funeral for your child. And so, I would have to say that I give all the credit to a friend and a neighbor.
Yeah.
I didn't have any friends or family in the locally where I lived.
Mhm.
I lived in Brentwood, Tennessee, and which is a suburb of Nashville, Tennessee. And both of these people were intuitively guided to me, and I didn't understand that at the beginning because I was very in a very confused state. But my friend actually saw a bluebird from the travel from her tree over to my tree, and that sparked a curiosity in her, and she came over and walked over and rang the doorbell and asked if she could help, and she was a huge help. And then another friend of mine just felt like I had this sensation that I needed some assistance, and so she called me and offered her help. And at first I didn't want to anybody around me. I
Yeah.
mean, it's but they were very helpful in planning, helping me plan the funeral. And that's one of the things. As I mentioned in the book, I was kind of resisting participating because I didn't want to acknowledge that my
Mhm.
son was really dead. And so, you have that struggle, and that's at the beginning of your grief journey. You don't want to accept what happens. It's,
Right.
and so it's like you have this struggle within you, and that's the pain. That's the pain that a part of the grief is that you love this person so much, and now they're physically gone, yet you don't understand about they're really right here with you, but at
Mhm.
that time you're still struggling with the physical pain. So
Right.
I wanted to, and why I felt this way, but I wanted people to really understand and know Mitch at the funeral. And so we had beautiful portraits, pictures, I mean, poster boards full of pictures. And he was a great woodworker, and he would, so we had some of the things that he made. Um, it was just things that I wanted to
Yeah.
bring to
Mhm.
make sure people could feel his presence. Again, I didn't know anything about feeling presence. I mean, I'm using words now, but at the
Sure.
time
You didn't know him.
I
Yeah.
didn't know. I felt it. I just felt that I needed to honor my
Yeah.
son's life. And so it was a couple weeks after the funeral, my husband and I were bickering at each other because our emotions were wild. I mean, neither of us understood what was going on, and he had a separate issue that he was also dealing with physically that
Mhm.
just came up at the same time.
Right.
And so, but I do remember, and this is a very distinct memory, and that I wrote it in the book. I kept hearing don't let Mitch's death be in vain. Everything is going to be all right. And I remember crying and not understanding about what happened. What am I supposed to do? But I kept hearing this.
Right.
Don't let Mitch's death be in vain. Everything is going to be all right. And it's like those were not my words. I'm thinking
Mhm.
coming from. I didn't know, I didn't know who was talking to me,
Right.
but it was, I felt really loved and comforted. And I actually believed it, but I didn't know how any of this was going to work out. And
Mhm.
so, that was one of the things I believe that was spirit, my spirit guides, my angels, whoever, my loved ones, my team. I just call them my spirit team. They actually, I feel like, contacted me and actually guided me throughout this whole journey. I call them my grief therapists because it was them who actually guided me to do certain things, to listen to books, to listen to, read books, to attend classes, to learn different things. And luckily I listened because I followed the trail that they
Mhm.
were leading me, and it all the way came up to where I am now. And as I look back, this was my son's physical death was in 2015. So it's been,
Oh,
um, well, it'll be 7 years or 8, going on 8. Yeah,
okay.
it was May. And
Yeah.
so, but it's, the first couple years were all about me healing. And the first thing that I was guided to do was learn how to meditate.
Mhm.
Now, I
That's
didn't, and
hard.
I didn't know how to meditate, but what I was shown initially was guided meditations. And
Mhm.
so the first couple weeks, I had this strong desire to learn, well, what is guided meditation? Why am I finding the need to understand about guided meditations? And I found some guided meditations on the internet that were free, and I started listening to them with earbuds, right before I went to bed, because I couldn't sleep, and I did not want to take any sleeping aids.
Mhm.
So I desperately needed to
Same.
stop thinking. I was exhausted with all the what ifs. What, what if, why couldn't I have helped my son? What if this, I mean, why did this happen the way it did? What triggered his need to, take some pills? I don't know. It's just so many questions.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was exhausted, mentally exhausted. And so these guided meditations at night, especially, it was, the very calming and very soothing. And I learned that these guided imagery type of meditations actually helped reprogram the mind.
Oh.
So, and so I was, Bella Ruth Napasak, it was one of the ones that I was listening to, and she was a pioneer in guided imageries. And to me, it's like a guided meditation. So she talks you through, uh, bring you into a guided state and allowing you, creating an image in your mind, and relaxing that mind, and helping you to be present with whatever the situation is within your life. And I noticed that each night that I did this, that I started to feel a little bit better. And as I tell people, it's like, okay, if you put on a scale of 100, I might have felt like 99 pain and then 898. So it was a gradual release. And I noticed that I started to have a little bit different perspective. I started not to feel that sharp pain, which I truly believe helped me on, getting out of bed, starting to
Yeah.
into life. So I continued with these guided meditations, and then I started to be drawn to understanding about, well, where is my son? Is he okay? Did it is does does he hurt? Typical questions like any mother would ask. You care about the well-being of your son. So, was there life after death? I didn't know. But I wanted to have a connection with my son so desperately.
Mhm.
And I just didn't know how to do that. So my first book that I read was by Dr. Eben Alexander, who is a well-renowned neurosurgeon, I think, and he had a near-death experience. And his book talked about he didn't believe in life after death, but after coming out of this a coma and the experiences he had, he truly believes now that life, the consciousness lives on. And so I started to believe that. And I started thinking, if he believed it, maybe there is some truth. And I started reading different books about life after death.
Mhm.
And I started to truly believe that my son was here in spiritual form.
Right.
But I couldn't see him, but I started to feel him. It was, I was still using these guided meditations, and I used different ones, ones for healing grief, for anxiety, for, spiritual consciousness, different ones. And I believe each of these things, I learned something different,
Mhm.
revealed in this kind of this, like a self-hypnosis, I call
Right.
it, reprogramming what my beliefs and perceptions, because I didn't believe this before. And so now I started to have a different perspective about, well, my son, yes, he's physically dead and I'm grieving him for him, but I'm starting to feel him. I'm starting to hear him. So is my husband. And,
Right.
and I've learned over the years that, the way our loved ones across the spiritual realm connects with us is through a quiet mind. And of course, that's so hard for all of us to get a
Right.
quiet mind where we come into this peacefulness. And
Yeah.
so until I learned how to truly meditate, his connections were primarily through a dream state, because that's when our mind is the quietest and we are the most relaxed, and they come in and they talk with us in a way that represents like images and feelings, and they in a dream state, and you feel like this is so realistic that
What's going on?
to my husband experience, that we started to truly believe that that Mitch was his spiritual essence, his consciousness was continuing on.
Right.
And so,
What's going on with my internet?
hello.
Oh, I'm here, Maggie. You just keep phrasing up a little bit here and there. That's all. Hello? Miss
Oh,
Maggie, are you there? Maggie, are you
hello. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, Maggie. Can you hear me, Maggie? Maggie's internet is Are you there? Oh, you're there. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Your
Uh,
internet just keeps kind of going in and out a little bit, but
I'm sorry. That's
oh,
I'm sitting right by the router. You would think it wouldn't.
the storms and everything across the United States this weekend, I think it's just done a number on all the waves. That's all. So, but keep going.
Okay,
Um,
so where was I? Okay, so I started the guided meditations, and then I started to learn more about life after death, and that definitely opened up and changed many perspectives that I had. Then I was drawn to become a yoga teacher, and
oh,
I thought that was, I practiced yoga, but I never even imagined thinking that I would become a yoga teacher. I'm thinking, well, I'm not flexible. I can't do any of this stuff. But I still had uh, this desire to learn how to be a yoga teacher, and I followed it, and that energy thread, so to speak. And I remember on the internet looking for places to learn about becoming a yoga teacher, and everything was all about the physical part of it, and nothing really attracted my attention until I found this one program that followed what they call the 8-limb path of yoga. So it incorporated, and the more that I read about this particular teacher training, this sounded just like what I needed. It was learning how to connect with your breath, learning how to find stillness within your heart and in your thoughts, learning how to connect with spirit while you are learning to be in this in the yoga poses. So basically yoga is really mindful meditative movement. And so it really attracted me to learn more about it. And so when I entered the program, it was also presenting and understanding about like Buddhist and Hinduist beliefs about spirit, and learning how to quiet yourself and being present with your emotions. And this was exactly what I needed at this time, because I needed to find that quietness, that stillness all the time. I needed to learn how to deal with the emotions. They were prevalent. And I felt like the guided meditations helped a lot, but I was still like dealing with the emotional outbursts, and how do I was still very confused on where I was going and what I needed to do. And so this teacher training actually helped me um, to create a new version of me in that perspective. And
Wow.
so I feel like that was a very opening for me to be able to open my heart and be present with my emotions. In fact, there's this one very distinctive memory that I have, that we were in the class, we were all there, and we're in a pose where it's and the teacher is saying, now I want you to go ahead and breathe and just focus on your breath and allow yourself to be open and release what you don't need in your life. And those words, release what you don't need in my life, it helped me to physically I could feel just everything that was sitting with me. I mean, people don't realize you carry your emotions around with you all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're very strong, and they're talking to you and reacting, and you don't understand what's going on. And a lot of times people just push them away. They suppress them because they don't know how to deal with the emotions of grief or any heavy emotions, stress or anxiety. And so they suppress them. They become themselves very busy at trying to focus on something else, instead of allowing them to come in and be present with them and feel what they need. And what do the emotions need to teach you? Well, it was at that time when I really learned to release that. I just knew right then and there that I was meant to be a yoga teacher, and that I was going to use this to help people heal the grief that people would have from whatever the grief is. I mean, there's many different types of grief, not just from a physical loss. It's the grief of losing, your home or a job or a pet, or, I mean, there's so many different things that triggers those emotions of grief. So I am a teacher now. I do teach yoga. I retired from a corporate environment, and now that's my mission now is to try to help people heal their grief. So yoga, I do teach yoga 3 days a week. I'm also a grief coach, and because I feel like I have many things that I can offer people about what to do and not to do. And I do have mentioned that in my book. I've also feel like my gifts of my psychic and mediumship abilities have come out. My writing skills have become more prevalent. So, these are just some of the things that if I hadn't been able to learn how to deal with the emotions, finding a safe space within myself through meditation, to be able to allow the emotions to come in and be able to heal them and to learn from them, I would not be here I am right now talking with you.
Yeah, and that's hard.
It is.
It's hard. Yeah. I know in my realm, I deal with people with grief all the time, whether they're coming to me for a reading or they're coming to me to learn about their gifts because they just want to connect to their loved ones again, and they're so desperate to get there, and they don't realize the journey isn't really about talking to their loved one again. It's getting through the grief. It's getting through how do I just live in life again, and then the bonus is I get to hear my loved one again.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Yeah. And so part of this journey, so, after the yoga teacher training, I had started to hear spirit on a regular basis. And so one of the classes that I had worked with, Suzanne Giesman, she was a well-known author herself and a spiritual teacher and evidential medium. And one of her classes, she mentioned you should always go to bed with a paper and pencil by your side, because if you're start to receive messages in the middle of the night, because remember, the middle of the night is usually when you're consciousness is the quiet. And so I did have paper and pencil, and I started to wake up at like 3 or 4 in the morning, because that seems to be the time of is when you are the quietest in your brain, and that's when the spiritual realm likes to connect with us.
Mhm.
And I started writing, automatically writing. I did just was whatever I was hearing, I was writing. I didn't try. I actually removed my human mind, so to speak, from the words I was hearing, and just wrote down what I was writing, what they were saying. And then in the morning, I would get up and kind of transcribe it. And I noticed that it started to be in poetic form,
Oh.
poetry. And it's like, well, that's interesting. I never liked poetry. I never understood poetry. Why am I writing poetry? And I remember the first poem that I transcribed and gave to my husband to read. He is like, well, that's really nice. Who wrote this? And I said, well, I did. He goes, I thought you didn't like poetry. And it's like, well, I don't, but I feel these are words that I'm hearing.
Right.
This is, couldn't take all the credit, because the words was from my spirit team.
Yeah.
Um and so I continued to write these poems. I continued to receive messages on a regular basis in poetic form, and each of these poems ended up being a way that I learned how to deal with the grief, how to befriend my grief, how to find gratitude in my grief. And that's many of the poems that I have were very meaningful and helped me to heal in different ways, to open my perspective differently. And I do, the book has a lot of those inspired healing poems. And, one of the reasons why I feel like, when I started to bring all this together, I just wanted the energy, the healing energy, to be revealed when people would either pick up my book or touch my book or read anything in my book. They could feel the energy of healing their emotions, because it was till this very day, I read these poems and I'm still amazed. It's like it was prevalent back then, the message, and it's prevalent now, and it's just interpreted in a different way. And
Mhm.
and so I feel that that is, that's one of the things I do like to work with people. When I work with my grief coaching clients, I do recommend that they start a journal, because one of the ways that people can um, reveal their emotions, even though my husband was with me and
Yeah.
wasn't alone. Men and women grieve differently,
Me
and
too.
I needed to get what I needed to be set out. And like I said at the beginning, none of my friends experienced this, none of my families. So I started writing my feelings. I started writing whatever I heard. This is just my personal emotional feelings. And
Yeah.
then I started writing the guided messages, the inspired messages. And it's amazing to understand and feel how powerful the words can be when you know the right words someone to say to someone, or you feel the word spoken to you that needs to be spoken, and they present such a powerful healing message for you.
Yeah.
And I feel that that kind of inspired me to bring all these different concepts together into a book to help other people at the beginning. It's kind of a guidebook, so to speak, for someone who didn't believe in any of this to now I'm, an advocator.
That's huge.
That's a huge transformation, and I know people at the beginning of their grief journey can't even imagine even saying the word gifts,
Yeah.
griefs, or gratitude with grief, or befriending your grief. I mean, those are counterintuitive things at the beginning. I mean, you just, but I feel like that's something that if there's a desire and a willingness, I mean, and you start to, if you truly understand, if you truly believe that there is life after death and your loved one is okay, with you and loves you, and they're sitting right next to me or right next to you, giving you a hug,
Yeah.
knowing that I feel like, then it's like, okay, they're okay. Yes, it's not what I wanted, but that's your human self, no, saying that's the clinginess, the attachment that you feel like you need. But when you learn to find that quiet and stillness within your heart and within your soul, and you learn to start to receive the messages, that there's a bigger picture, there's more meaning in why this happened.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that Mitch's physical death actually triggered this beautiful awakening in me. And I have been able to, allow this to be spread out to others. And so I feel like I'm bringing healing and healthful healing and love to others who are on the journey, who feel hopeless and wandering and confused.
I think you're right on there. 110%. We need that. We need that because people don't have a place for grief. People don't have a place. They don't have a unity. They don't have that. And so I know myself, I have listened to so many people come to me and they're lost, and I love the fact that you've just found that place for you to be able to do that and then honor your, the passing of your son also. What a beautiful gift you give to people. What a beautiful gift.
And then, and every day I am amazed, truly amazed at how smart the spiritual realm is. There's such an intelligence around them. The messages that I get and the scenarios, the events that occur in my life, it's like, wow, how did that how did this, me being on a podcast show here, and I have several others too that are lined up, but all to help me promote, my story, my book, to and I feel the need to actually share this with people, to know that they are not alone. You are not alone in your grief. Nobody likes to talk about grief because they figured, and I was the same way. I figured if I didn't talk about it, it wouldn't occur in my life. Now,
Yeah.
is it kind of a silly?
No, I don't think it's silly at all. I think it's very true. I think for a lot of things, you had already touched on that so many people don't pay attention to their emotions, and I call it, everybody goes into survival, we go into survival mode, and people don't realize that. I don't think we're taught how to deal with emotions. I think we're taught to go, what's happened, put it behind you, dust off your knee and keep going, when really you fall and you scrape your knee, it hurts and I'm scared and you didn't protect me. And there's an array of things going on instead of just stuffing it someplace in the body, and we grow up to be adults that we survive,
Right.
just simply survive, and how much are we missing because that's what we're doing.
And,
So,
yeah, go ahead.
no, go.
I was going to say that is very true, because it's we are taught by our parents and taught by our family members. We're taught by society, and all our parents, our society, the schools, whatever. It
Mhm.
just, they don't want people to be sad,
Yeah.
and And there's okay, that's okay, because we don't, but there's a moment of time where you have to deal with the sadness, and you have to learn how to deal with some of these things, the emotional struggles that people have. But I feel like you don't, that it's a balance. You don't want to stay there too long, because
Right.
then it's going to keep dragging you down, and then you never learn anything. So you
Mhm.
have to find, okay, how do I'm in this feeling my pain, but then I need to learn how to come back out, and then I need to move forward a little bit, and then I got to come back and feel my pain, and then I have to not stay there too long, and come back and still move forward. And that's, I think, is the balance that it's very difficult for
Yeah.
many people, including me. I mean, every day, I mean, even though, I mean, I still have things that I have to deal with. I mean, there are emotions that I come up all the time, not necessarily of my son's passing, but of other things that happen in life. And our emotions are our teachers. They are there to help to become aware, help you become aware of what's going on. I mean, it's and that's where one of the things that I mentioned is that how to befriend your emotions. Well, you know, because if you think of them as your teachers, it's like, okay, why am I feeling this way? What is the, why am I feeling agitated? Why am I feeling stressed? And then if you learn how to come back into this, that stillness, that quiet meditative state where you can feel that what's going on, you can hear the guidance, and then you allow then it to go through you and not be stuck in you. And
Mhm.
that's the thing, many of us don't know how to do that. And I didn't, uh,
Right.
at the beginning. I was very typical of suppressing the emotions, or watching TV too much, or going shopping too much, or anything to distract what I was, what I was trying to feel. I was trying to understand these emotions and heal them, and I didn't have the tools, and I didn't know how to navigate them and what to do. And that's because we all are, unfortunately, we don't like to talk about grief, and we don't like to talk about these heavy emotions. And I feel like the more that you understand what's going on, it gives you a better perspective, and it helps you move on into more of a understanding and awareness of that this is part of what we're supposed to learn here on earth, so to speak, and experience.
110%. I mean, as you're talking, I can remember days when I was going through I will say my healing transition. That's all I can call it. It's a healing transition that took years, years. And I love to say I'm a medium and I had to go through that.
Right.
But I can remember days where I would wake up and nothing was wrong. I didn't feel sad. I wasn't feeling anything, but I'd start crying. And not ugly crying, just these tears that would just make my face wet and they would just come out of nowhere. And family would look at me, go, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine." "Well, why are you crying?" "I don't know." It's just, "Well, wipe it." And I could have wiped them and stopped it, but I'm like, My soul needs to do this right now. I have no clue why. I don't know what it's releasing, but this is how it needs to release it." And by the end of the day, when it was finally done, because you can't, and I will say, you can't stop it. You can try, but you're wiping and it's just flowing and flowing. And you just know at the end of the day, you have released so much and you don't even know what it is, but you just acknowledged it and you gave yourself that space to say, today, I'm just going to let this happen. But we don't. We tend to wipe the tears and try to get it to quit, and we stop the healing process.
Right. I mean, we don't realize how much of our negative thoughts and of negative emotions that are stored in our body and our cells, and that we are not aware of that. And so,
Yes.
if you start to feel something that you're uncomfortable with, most people will suppress it. Oh, I'm not going to deal with that. I'm just going to suppress it. And so the
Mhm.
more that you suppress these feelings, whatever they are, whatever causes them, maybe it's, somebody said something to you that really hurt your feelings, or, maybe somebody made a comment about, what you're wearing or your hair. I mean, these, to me, it can be, simple, silly things, when you think about other more big, profound things, but they still hurt, you know,
Mhm.
still bothered you, but you didn't, it's like, oh, I'll deal with that later. And so all these years, as we grow up from younger, from a child all the way to adult, and I think you mentioned this before, it's all part of who you are. But if you don't learn to just deal with the emotions as they come, and sometimes you don't know where they come from, just like feeling the need to cry. And I did the same thing, and I still do feel that. Because I become more aware, in tune with what my body is talking to me. I mean, it's through the emotions and feelings, that's how they communicate with you. That's when I do take that time to become more mindful, or sit in the presence of your power, be with the emotions, allow it to flow. And sometimes, when you're driving a car and you're just relaxed, tears come. Or you may be watching TV, and all of a sudden tears come, and it's nothing that you need to cry about on TV. It's just like you're in this relaxed state, and you can actually allow your body feels like it's safe enough to release those emotions.
It's incredible, isn't it, when that happens? It's so incredible. And I think people should, I wish people would give themselves more of the time to be able to do that. Somebody just said Maggie for president. I love that. And it's wonderful because I've gotten text messages and Facebook messages, everybody going, today was the perfect day because they needed to hear you today. So I'm going to say that we're going to chalk this one up to spirit, because everybody is just like, they're even saying to me, like, you don't understand. A month ago, I didn't need this. I needed this today. And I'm like, that's incredible. I just love that. And, I do believe that you are giving such a service to so many people. And the beautiful thing about that is I don't think you were expecting to do that. I don't think you were at any level expecting to say, I'm going to change the world.
I mean, I still don't think I'm changing the world, but I feel like I'm changing myself. I've changed myself, and I think that's one aspect. If you want change on the outside, I feel like you have to make change on the inside first, and then how you react to people helps them to change too. And then it's kind of a ripple effect, in that perspective. And I had to, when you said you didn't imagine this change, and I would truly would say that's true, because I was in my corporate environment, I was an IT computer analyst. So I was very analytical, very organized, very methodical. In fact, I remember taking this personality test, and they always have these personality tests to so you can learn how to work with people. You understand what type of people you're working with. And so this was called the True Colors test. And so they ask you all these questions, and they rank you according to 4 different colors. It was gold, green, orange, and blue. And little did I know now I understand these are probably related to my chakra colors in some way, but I didn't know, I didn't even knew what a chakra was back in my corporate world, so to speak. And so I was very organized. Gold was very organized, very methodical. And of course, I was an IT project manager and a systems analyst, and implemented, big financial systems for hospitals, and very analytical. So I was a troubleshooter when we had problems, the technical problems. I was the one that was always there helping to figure things out. And so the orange and the blue, the orange was a risk taker, and the blue was emotional. And I was so low. I was so top heavy on the green and the gold, and very, very, very little in the orange and the blue. And what's interesting is I took a personality test last year, or maybe it was this year, just recently. And I didn't know how to answer the questions because I had changed so much. In a way, it was like, well, I'm still organized, and I'm still analytical, but I feel like I'm much more balanced. I'm much more compassionate, and I'm much more kinder, and I do feel I'm much more willing to be more creative and to be more curious, which is that risk thing, that orange. So I feel like one of the huge gifts that I feel like I received was learned how to balance who I really am with, that human side and my soulful side. And I feel like I do that every day. And I welcome. I don't disregard anything that I did in the past. In fact, that's who I am. That's all the decisions, everything I made back before I understood is part of me. But I've learned now to balance it with this higher version of me, the better version, the kinder, more compassionate person, and I think it's just totally amazing that if you had asked me this back in 2015 or 2014 before this, I would be like, yeah, that's not me. I will never be that, and here I am. So
Yeah.
I feel like this for me, it was a huge transformation,
Mhm.
opened up big time. And sometimes some people it's more subtle.
Mm.
It's more subtle, Lee, that and then one day you think, oh man, that I'm not like that anymore. But
Yeah.
as I look back on my life as with perspective, with this new perspective and a new way of thinking, I feel like spirit has always been with me
Mhm.
all along. And every major decision that I had, I truly believe that this internal conversation that I had to make the decision, I feel like they were a part of me. And so, but if you're not, if my parents didn't know this, my parents didn't teach me this, the schools didn't teach you that. I mean, so it's like, where do you learn this kind of stuff? I mean, that's the thing. You don't really know about this. And I feel like we need to talk more about this. We need to get more out in the open about, trusting into that intuitive self that we have. We all are born with that, and we don't know how to utilize that huge gift that we have.
Yeah. And I think you're right in like most every profession, because as you're talking about I'm remembering mine when I was actively being a nurse. You would think I would be all into the grief and the healing, but really my motto was there's no emergencies. There's no emergencies until you're dead. And then really there's no emergency because you died. You know what I mean? And being organized and I mean, my life was always about prioritizing and I would almost say callous. I wasn't the most I was a great nurse, don't get me wrong, but to the regular general population, you become callous. And it was through my own transition that I'm like, wow. I mean, people that knew me then and know me now, they're like, you're not the same person. You're not even close to the person you used to. And I'm like, no, because I've become a very compassionate person. I'm very loving and I want to be there for people, which is you would think in the profession I was, that would have been the name of the game. But
Right.
they don't teach you that. They don't teach you that. They teach you systems and how to handle things but not to take care of the emotional aspect of your patients or the emotional and that grief because anybody in a hospital is going to have grief.
Right.
You know? And it's almost like don't be consumed by that because you got to heal the body. Well, they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah. The mind body connection is very strong. And that's,
Yeah.
that's one of the things I'm being drawn back to my yoga classes. So we come to people that come to my yoga class might experience something a little bit different because we still do that physical part of it because that's very much part of the yoga process. But when you focus on your breathing in tune with the movement, it's becomes more like a dance,
Mhm.
this mindful dance of you're flowing. And I'm not so much about wanting to make sure you have that perfect straight arm or your leg is straight. I mean, there's some, you have to have some essence of a correct posture, but not to the point where you're obsessed with that. Because to me, it's more about learning to flow with life, learning to flow with the connection of the breath, with the movement. And you can do that with anything. With dancing, I there's a part in the book that um, I had to put in there because when I was younger, I always danced alone. I don't know if anybody did that, where I would crank up that music and I would just, really get into the flow and just feel the music and just let myself go and, just continue to dance with the dance, just, and I didn't care if anybody was watching. And most of the time people weren't, but a lot of times, if I was driving, I'd be listening and I'd really get into the music. And it's, it's this, the connection with that energy. It's that to be able to get out of that mind of that thinking mind, and to just the feeling, to get into that. And music was always very important to me, connection to the spiritual realm. So a lot of these poems that I wrote, uh, actually, I was the spirit guided me with the words. I wrote them, but it was their words, I should say. So we wrote them together, so to speak. But music was very much the trigger point for me, because I would hear something in a musical song, and it'd be like, oh, that sounds familiar. And then all of a sudden the words would come, but it had nothing to do with the the song, the lyrics of the song. It was just that little snag, that little connections, like, oh, hey, I guess here comes the download, so to speak. And so
Right.
the music is another way that I feel that people can help to release emotions and release that stress they may have. Allowing yourself to just relax and be with the flow of the energy, and and just allow it to take you to a place where you can feel uh, feel yourself. And so I hope that that's helpful to some people.
I think it's beautifully helpful, you know? I I'm I don't know if you're seeing the comments, but all the comments are like, "Oh my gosh, I need this. Oh my god." They're just wow. I mean, it was like everybody needed it, and they're like, "I needed it today." Like they needed this today, not a different day. So to me, it's incredible. I wanted to put the name of your book up there so people can go and look and find the book. Um, but where do you see yourself kind of going from here? And with this, I mean, clearly your road is open. What I mean? Like, oh my gosh, I'm sure you were not thinking about this type of life, at all, as we already discussed. But now it's like, where are you going? What's the next step? Where
That's exactly what I feel like I'm at my stage. It's like, okay, where am I going with this? I know something is big is coming up. I mean, I feel like I'm moving forward I feel like another book is going to come. And I do feel like, my mediumship is going to also be opened up, and really, more people are going to become attracted to me and want to, connect with me as a medium. I know my grief coaching is also starting to really move forward. I'm also an affiliate leaders for Helping Parents Heal organization, and they're all well-known organizations to help parents who have lost children. So I have monthly meetings on a regular basis. And they're online. So I'm for the state of Tennessee, but because it's online, I welcome anybody from other states. And if you go to the Helping Parents Heal website, you can also find me and my contact information to allow connect with me and find out what ways I can help you. But I don't know. I almost feel like I'm going to be doing more speaking, maybe some kind of maybe like you, be a podcast, have
oh
a show.
yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like I'm definitely going to be moving, connecting more. My ripples are going to be out farther. That's the image that I have. My ripples started just with me and my husband and my family, gone out to more people, and I feel like I'm moving outward into that effect.
I
So
love that. You have people that are like, the book's in my cart. It's arriving Saturday. It's on the way. I'm buying it for me and somebody else. You know, This is huge. I mean, all these people are just like, wow, we need this, and they need you. So for the grief counseling, can you again say where they can find you for that?
Yes, well, my website is www.justbeholistic.healing.com.
I'm writing it up there for people so they can get it. I know I have it in my emails, but my emails aren't working with me very well today.
Just
So
holistic healing,
justbeholistichealing.com. Am I correct in that? Justbeholistichealing.com.
holistichealing.com. Yeah, and there's a contact page there where it emails me. I also, I mean, I can give my email too if you want.
I can put it in there for people. Yeah.
It's HPHM Spaulding, SPAULDING at gmail.com.
Got you in there for that. I'm putting that one in the comments because I want people. Courtney says, yes, it's correct. People have actually hit the website and went and looked already to make sure. I love this. Um, you know, be, oh my gosh, my own throat's just like my throat chakra for 24 hours has been closed and it's opening and opening and opening. I'm like, I don't know what I encountered that shut this down yesterday, but I understood it happened and it just today it's opening. So I'm really hoping that people, reach out to you, contact you, give your mission, your information to somebody else, because you are somebody that's very, very needed and, needed, for so many different aspects. And I love that. So are you looking at I know you just finished this book and just got this published, but are you looking for another book yet?
Yes, I do feel like there's another book. Actually, I feel like there's two projects. That one is what I'm working on is it's oracle cards for emotions.
Oh,
And nature was very much a part of my healing. As I mentioned in the book, when people say, well, how do you find gratitude in grief? Well, gratitude and grief for many people don't go together. It's like oil and water. But so healing or nature was my secret weapon, so to speak, my subtle way to learn to bring gratitude into your life, into my life. And I remember driving to work, and I would always go through this one subdivision that was totally beautiful. It had ponds and trees and geese and all types of birds. And as I drove through there, I'd be like, look at that bird, look at that beautiful, sprinkle water there. Look at these trees, look how beautiful the landscaping is. And it just, that connection that nature had with me, and then I started to look at the sky. Look how blue the sky is, and look how blue or look how fluff, that cloud is. It just, those little things that you start to notice and appreciate. I mean, that's part of gratitude, even though you don't feel like you have any gratitude in your life because of whatever's going on. There's always something little. I remember writing in my journal, one of the things that I did at the very beginning was as I mentioned before, was writing my emotions. And
right.
then I started to write, incorporate gratitude. What was I appreciative of life? And because that was part of the healing process,
Mhm.
one of the tools, I should say. And I remember writing down, I was grateful for the smell of coffee. That's all I could, I remember the smell of coffee, when I was depressed. It smelled good, and then I remember, my dog would come up and just, look at you and, just, be grateful for those little things in life because they can have such an important impact on the way you can change your perspective and about life. But anyhow, so going back to these oracle cards, I feel like I'm going to do something with nature pictures, with emotional sayings, how to befriending your grief, and then perhaps definitely more of a detailed book about offering different suggestions, different tools and techniques that I have learned and incorporated in my own life as well, and into my Helping Parents Heal meetings that I have, kind of summarizing them all together. So it's kind of a one-stop shopping of hey, these are the things I tried and they work for me. They might work for you. Because I feel like that's the other thing, is like people who do feel like they need something to help with the grief. There's so much stuff out there on the internet. And so you get kind of overwhelmed with that as well. You got overwhelmed with all the emotions that are, you're trying to navigate. And then you got, you're, trying to navigate finding ways, tools, and techniques to help you. And it's just a matter of trial and error. And so hopefully, this other book that I'm considering writing, of course, Allison will be very happy about that.
She will. She will.
Allison is my publisher, and she's your friend, isn't it?
I love Allison. I mean, her and I certified together, and not that she needed it by any means, because she was so amazing. And I remember watching her going, oh, I suck compared to you. Like, and just to watch her journey in her life is like, oh, she's just such a beautiful woman. So, yeah.
Well, she was a great help in helping me write this book. I mean, I did go out, and I just felt really guided to write a book. And it's like, well, I don't know anything about writing a book, because I didn't have that background. I was in IT computers, so, but I just kept, just doing it. And soon everything came together. And I remember sending her what I considered my final manuscript. And she says, well, there's a lot of potential here. And I knew I knew I would need an editor for all the, syntax and grammatical stuff. But I did find she would hook me up with a wonderful editor called Lisa Smart. And she and I really connected. Her style of writing was very similar to mine. So she made my book beautiful. It was all my words, because she would say, okay, you need more here, you need more information here, you need more detail, because you have to look from a reader's perspective. What are you're telling them about this? They need to know more. And so she did a beautiful job helping rearrange everything. And I mean, I'm still amazed. Every time I pick up the book, I can just feel the energy within the pages. And I'm still amazed that I'm the author, I mean.
I love that. So incredible. I can't say enough, Maggie, about you coming on, sharing your story, sharing your book, sharing this process, and clearly you have affected the viewers, because they're all like, they're buying it. And we have a lot of people on here that have just recently lost somebody, somebody a few days ago, somebody 2 months ago, just wow. I can't say enough about perfect timing and what you've done for people today. And somebody's actually said, make the cards, they're going to be the first one to buy them. So, there you go.
I guess I need to get them out, huh?
You need to get them done. You got people waiting now. You're like, come on, bring the cards, so it's just all those wonderful tools for people. All of those, they're beautiful.
Well, I guess like you said before, the timing this is the perfect day. This was the perfect day. So
it was the perfect day,
and they are so smart, aren't they?
They are, aren't they? They're incredible, because in my mind, I'll tell you, in my mind, I'm like, how does somebody make this screw up? Like how? And then my thought is, how is the same day? I mean, how I don't remember if it was the 28th or what day it was, but it was like, how is it 2 months, the exact same? That also does not happen. You can look at a calendar year, and how often are you going to have the same date on the same, same day of the week? It just doesn't occur, and I'm like, okay, Spirit, I don't know what this is about, but we're going with you. So I love it. And honestly, you're only on a week later than you were supposed to be initially.
Right. That's right. Yeah. But I guess timing is everything. Timing is all, I it's interesting too, because I do feel that timing is also a big part of how your gifts are revealed, and until you're ready to receive them. Because I always wondered why why didn't this transformation happen earlier in my life? And it wasn't meant to be, I mean, that's the thing. It's all about timing. How things open up and evolve into something. I know at the beginning, especially of my mediumship, I mean, it's like, I want it now, and that doesn't happen. You have to you have to work on yourself. You have to work on your shadow side, so to speak, and deal with the emotions, and until you are able to be that conduit for spirit, and so that all takes time.
It does. It does. Always. And then we get to look back and go, wow.
Wow, I know. I mean, every day I look back going, wow, I am just amazed that I've come this far and this way, But I feel like all this was supposed to happen. And I know that I would have never said that before, but this, my son's physical death transformed me and triggered all these things. And I'm just very appreciative that I was able to listen to the guidance that I was receiving and to heal my grief, to be where I am right now.
Sounds like his death wasn't in vain.
Yes, thank you. Yes, that's true.
It's a beautiful thing that came from it. And thank you for helping so many people because of it.
Well, thank you for having me on the show and allowing me to share my story and my journey.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on, being here with me this morning. What a fast hour this has been. And I so many blessings for you and all that you do and all that you help. For everybody else, I'll be back in a few moments with DeEtte here on WLTK-DB with your weekly reading. Thank you so much, Miss Maggie.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye.
The Body Code is a revolutionary method of energetic healing developed by Dr. Bradley Nelson, which allows us to quickly and easily identify specific imbalances that seem to underline chronic ill health, acute and chronic pain, and discomfort, dysfunction, and stress. Ellie energetically connects with the subconscious of the client. Psychic medium Ellie Weisensell is a medical intuitive and energy healer, and a certified body code practitioner. She identifies and clears energetic imbalances within the body and energy field. Contact Ellie at the website below, and Ellie can work remotely from a distance, by phone, online, video chat. There's no need to travel to an office. Remember, the Body Code is safe for humans and animals. Contact Ellie today.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Schooled Thru Spirit with DeEtte here on WLTK-DB.com. Oh my gosh, where's people's comments? Maybe what needs to be Speeding Through Spirits with DeEtte? What's that? Is that like a new show? Okay, DeEtte, do you really think you can top that with cards? I don't know if I can, Tim. Maggie was phenomenal. Oh my gosh, what a blessing. What an amazing woman. But you know how I'm going to try to top it? With a new deck. Guys, yes, I did a thing. Don't put me in a metaphysical store. I actually had 2 new decks. I put one of them away because this beauty had to come home too. So this came home and this came home. I think they pair together pretty well. And I've really wanted a rhodochrosite for so long. And I picked it up and I went, this is a rhodonite, not a rhodochrosite. Rhodonite, so long. that I was just like, oh my God, I have to have you. And so it came home. I didn't touch it, and it sparks my brain. Oh, it just sparks my brain. You tagged me in a crow deck. Oh my God, I got to go look at that, Courtney. So we are going to use the Queen of Moon Oracle deck. I loved these cards. I don't even know why, guys. I barely shuffled them. I barely put any energy into them. We're going to shuffle for a minute. As you know, we're going to do a 5-card stud here, guys. You can pick 1 card. You can pick 2 cards, all 5, whatever. This is yours for your week. Where are you going to go? What's going on? What's happening? Anything for me, Stephanie, I don't know. We're going to look to the cards. You got to pick a number for yourself, or 2 numbers, or 5, whatever. And then kind of go from there. Like I said, the most I've done was shuffle these cards. I peeked at them, not a whole lot. So we're going to just see how this is. And see if I can get anything from the cards. If not, I'll just be doing weekly readings for you guys individually. No, that's tomorrow night's show. That's tomorrow night's show. So let's do our 5 cards. I'm going to do this whole cut the card thing. Okay, so card number 1, trust. Ooh, it says the egg moon, trust. These are gorgeous, guys. These guys are just gorgeous. So if you're picking it, your hand is looking good. Thank you, Miss Courtney. If you pick number 1, this is the trust. This really is about trust. And I want you to look at your aspect of trust. Now, this is huge, guys, huge. Because when you're looking at trust, you're looking at trust of self, trust of spirit, trust of your neighbor, trust everywhere. And so many of us really have a hard time with that, don't we? You know, even as I teach people, I'm just like I can give you a ton of tools. My hardest thing is going to be getting you to trust. Okay. And I will tell you, a lot of times it's just trust of self. And I do think that's where you're sitting at if you pick card number 1, because you're looking at yourself. I need to trust me. I need to trust that the information I'm getting is correct. I need to make sure I'm trusting the fact that I'm interpreting. I need to trust the fact that I'm making right decisions. And I need to trust myself. And I think if you pick card number 1, that's where we're sitting at, is that. Card number 3, or it's card number 2, the waxing crescent. It's realization. Realization. Ooh, I'm wondering where these cards are going to for all 5. So realization is the card number 2. I like this card because realization is a hard thing. You know what? We always get knowledge. We always get information. But making something real, it's one thing to know, and no. I just realized somebody was playing with my wall, and one of my things is upside down. I got to fix that. Sorry. Don't know why that's upside down, but I'll fix it. Anyway, so realization is a hard thing. Okay. And I will tell you, it's when the light bulb goes off. And if you pick card number 2, you're going to have some light bulbs going off. It's not that you haven't known things, because you have, but making a realization of this happening, seeing something for the first time, being able to explore that and kind of going forward is huge. So if you pick card number 2, you're working on the realization this week. Card number 3 is extremes. It's the hot moon. It's extremes. Ooh, this card's kind of seductive to look at. It is extremes. So what are you looking at? Hello, Hello, Rob. So where are you looking at with extremes of life? Where are you looking at with this? So if you pick card number 3, you're looking at the extras, the pushing out, what is way out here. This is putting you in an avenue of going, you know what? I don't want I think I need 16 or 17. This isn't about you just looking at what's right here. This is about taking risks. It's about pushing out. It's about getting to that, what is your extreme, and then pushing past that, okay? And it's an amazing card because so many of us have a hard time to go there. So many of us have a hard time going, I'm going to push to this level. I'm going to do this. It's past my comfort zone. It's into something I'm not used to or I don't know how to deal with. So if you pick card number 3, that's where you're looking at. You're pushing yourself past. Card number 4 is blossoming. Oh, another gorgeous card, guys. Blossoming. And if you pick number 4, you're looking at the fact that you're starting to flourish. This is when you start to look at, somebody tells you you're an expert in something, you're like, oh, what? I am. Oh my gosh. And you're just growing and the blooms are coming out. And that's that beauty part, it's taking everything you've had, you're getting to that part of whatever part of journey you're on right now. And it's starting to come to fruition. It's starting to just bloom out and it's beautiful. Okay. So if you pick number 4, know that you're there. Everything's coming, it's coming to fruition. Card number 5 is attraction. It's a supermoon attraction. And this is telling me that if you pick number 5, you're finally at that point where you've gotten through all the processes and now you start to attract exactly what you wanted. You're starting to attract exactly what you wanted. You've put the work in. You've done your time. You've figured it all out. And now that good is coming to you. What you've manifested, what you've put the time for, it's coming to you. And well deserved. Well deserved. So card number 1 was trust. Work on your trust. Card number 2 is that realization of, oh my gosh, the light bulbs. Number 3 is pushing yourself past your comfort zone. Card number 5 or 4 is blossoming. Guys, you're almost there. You're just starting to really bloom. And card number 5 is you are there and you're attracting in what it is you work for. Now, I'll tell you what, if you're like myself or Tim or some other people that literally picked all 5 cards, this is your week that you are finally coming to the end of a cycle and you're going, oh my gosh, finally, I'm there. I'm finally there. And you're really bringing together everything. Everything is just going, wow, it all starting to make sense. It's all starting to come to you. Those things that you wanted are starting to happen. Maybe you didn't want it, but they're still happening. Just extremely, it's such an amazing week for y'all this week. Okay. Oh, so let's pick a card from the other one. Todd, my new favorite deck. I know, Todd. Aren't they awesome? So, I'm dropping everything everywhere. I got to figure out where I'm going to put the new deck. Right here. Does it look good right there, guys? Looks good right there. I need to get something to build around. I've got cards everywhere. I just need to quit. Rob, pushing past your comfort zone time each week in order to make exactly. I love that. Make room for the crow deck. Oh, you know it. Always. Floating shelves. I need more floating shelves. I got some here. I need some more. Well, I guess those aren't really considered floating. Still the same premises, just not floating. Make room for the crow deck. I read that twice, but I'm loving that. I love my crows. I love my ravens. I love my crows. I love them all. I can't even tell you. So let's pull a card to bring it all together. Because that's what we do and that's what I like to do. It's another pretty card. I like the pretty cards. So this card is beyond the mind. The mind moves us through the logistics of life so we can function in the world. However, endless mental chatter, self-doubt, limiting stories, and subconscious programs can keep us in our suffering. Step outside mind-based limitations. Looking at things in an overly logical way will hinder you and obstruct access to your superpowers. The past may be running you and making your mind spin so you cannot see what is really in front of you. Consider what your heart and your gut are telling you. What would the situation at hand feel like if you released all fears and worries? Are these concerns even yours? Oh my God. Is that card not incredible, especially with this week of cards? So it's pushing past what you think, pushing past what society has taught you, pushing past all of it and just going, you know what? I'm not going to be limited. I'm not going to take the constraints of something else and stop me from progressing with where I want to be or where I'm supposed to be. It really is that whole mantra of what else is possible? What more can I do? What more can happen? And that's in a good way, guys. That's an amazing way, and that card goes beautifully with all of it. So I love it. And I overstretched the hand because all of a sudden I got this really sharp pain that just went through it. Oh, I know better. I know not to do this. So guys, let's talk about, I hope the cards really helped you a lot. I want to talk about the new station. I want to talk about all the shows. all the shows, guys, because we got lots of shows. So I've got the current show schedule. We have had some drop off. We have some new ones coming on. Remember, there's always room for you guys. Trust me, if you want a show, please, 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 email WLTK-DB.com and inquire. If you want to become a sponsor, guys, it's like $80 a month and you get so much. You get your ad, you get so much. It's incredible. So trust me when I'm like, hey, you know what I mean? It's just, you got this. It's awesome. It's awesome. Who did I write that to? Oh, that's sent. I'm like, who did I write that to? I was trying to figure out what I was doing there in life. Anyway, so let's talk about the shows. As always, you start Monday morning with myself here on Schooled Thru Spirit with DeEtte at 9 a.m. At noon is Monday Morning Monsters with Barnaby Jones at 1 from noon to 1. And Christina Bloom is on tonight with Be the Change at 8 p.m. Now, as you notice, we got some times tonight open then. Tuesdays, we have Exploring the Paranormal with Heather Lee at 9 a.m. At 5 is Ane with Ane Shin. She is our tarot reader, which is phenomenal. Unfiltered with Mike and DeEtte is at 6 p.m. Moment to Moment with Linda Hope is at 7. The Tyson's Gift podcast with Brian Wainwright is moving to 8 p.m. on Tuesdays. Oh, that's next week, guys. Not this week, next week. And Spirits Are Talking with Lisa Silverman is at 9 p.m. And Paranormal Pete with Pete Urbea is at 10. Wednesdays, we start Self-Care Show with Deidre Sanford at 10 a.m. The Psychic Hour with Kelly Brickle is at 3 p.m. Oh, in May, we got a show coming in, guys. It is Soul Guidance with Ronnie Blout, and that'll be at 6 p.m., but not till May. So you got another month or so. Haunted Locations in 60 Minutes with Nick Sarlo and Diana Henry, 7 p.m. That's another phenomenal show. See and Beyond with Kelly Urquhart and Cheryl Murphy are at 9 p.m. Now, Thursdays, we have a chat with Charlie, Stephanie Lynn at 9. The Tyson's podcast is one more week, guys. One more week is on Thursday nights at 6 p.m. And that's Brandon Wainwright. I was on his show last week. Phenomenal show. Oh my God, guys. I loved it. The Realm of Darkness with Ashley Moreno is at 7 p.m. She starts this week again. Realm of Darkness with Ashley Moreno. Like April 6th. Yes, April 6th this week, 7 p.m. That's awesome. The Afterlife Chronicles with Nicole Strickland is currently on break. Hopefully she'll come back soon. And the Voice of Oneness with Amara Bonet is at 10 p.m. Now, Fridays, we start Soul and Synergy Radio with Terry Flick and Danny Loosemore at 10 a.m. That's a 2-hour show. It's another phenomenal show, guys. The Psychic Hour reading shows is at 3 p.m. Twilight Tonight with Dee Moonflyers at 6 p.m. Twist Ascensions with Kaden and Elisa Mask is at 8 p.m. Guys, you guys go and watch their show sometime. You will be just enthralled. And then stay for Haunted Voices with Todd Bates and Nicole Strickland at 10 p.m. And we have so many amazing shows. I can't even express to you how amazing it is, how awesome it is. You keep missing those. Cordy, that's okay. That's okay. I know you'll get them. I know you'll get them. And now, guys, we have some things happening pretty soon in my life. So I'm going to just kind of go over my schedule for you guys so you know I still do it this way. I know I need to get all technology and into the computer, but my head goes, no. So I want to talk about a few things that are coming up, guys. One, I have beginners and intermediate classes starting next week. A lot of people asked, hey, will you teach them again? Normally I cut off at this time for spring because I always think that people want to be out in the spring doing funny things, wonderful spring warm things. But you know what? Spirit told me to do it. Other people asked me to do it. So I will tell you, intermediate psychic mediumship development starts next Monday. It is online. It is at 6 p.m. It is weekly Zoom sessions with me. We have 8 weekly Zoom sessions, and I send you 7 weekly lessons that we talk about each week. And you explore the world of spirit and your own abilities. That starts next Monday. You can go to my website, DeEtteRanae.com, and you can actually sign up there. You just go to the class, click it underneath there, boom, bada bing, bada bing. It sends me a message. Then you can always send me an email if you want, or a message on Facebook saying, hey, I've just joined. I've also got beginners starting back up again because some people really want beginners again. So that is next Wednesdays. It will be every Wednesday. At 7 p.m. and these are Central Standard Time, guys. So at 7 p.m., Next Wednesday is when that starts. And that is really just getting you in, exploring the world, getting you to understand yourself a little bit, your abilities, your senses. Just incredible class. I can't even tell you how incredible the class is. So those two start next week, which is awesome. And then we have, oh, the 22nd, guys, the 22nd. I need to start advertising this more. The 22nd is Spirits in the Spring. That's in Broadhead, Wisconsin. Mr. Nick Sarlo and the Shadow Hunters are actually placing this event on. We got some amazing people. Patty Negrees coming in. Natalie Jones is coming in. Just, there's so many incredible people that are coming in for this event. I will bring up the flyer next week so you guys can see and I can tell you more about it. But so many incredible people are coming in together for just an incredible Paracon that's going to be here at a very haunted location that I've had the beauty of investigating once, which I loved. And this location is awesome because one team will go through and they get the negative, heavy energy there. And then another team will go through and it's just a bunch of kids playing. You know what I mean? So it's really incredible. It's a place that you never know what it's going to give you. And I've had some people that have gone through it multiple times and their eyes like it's never been anything but light and cheery. And all of a sudden one time they walk in, it's like, oh my God, what let the dog out. So either way, guys, next week I got another amazing guest on, Marie Yates. I'm going to bring up her Facebook just so I can tell you so much more about her, just because I don't want to miss a single thing on this wonderful lady. Oh my God, why is my computer running so darn slow? It's running so darn slow. So Miss Marie Yates, she's a paranormal investigator. She's a haunted survivor and speaker. She's been on the Travel Channel's Haunted Case Files. She has been on reality TV for Peacock TV, Discovery TV. God, the list just goes on and on. She's also the director of events for Vulture City Ghost Town, which is in Arizona. She runs Vulture City Paracon every year. She is the owner of Crossing Over Paranormal Society, the Cops Crew, in quotes, the Cops Crew. This lady is just out there doing so many incredible things for the paranormal community. And I get the honor of having her on next week. I also get the honor of being part of Vulture City Paracon in Arizona this year. Supposed to be there last year. A lot of stuff happened last year, so I couldn't get to Arizona. Things within the family that just stopped the process. But this year, I'm getting there. And I will be in Arizona this year. Definitely doing that. And Vulture City is, I don't know, somewhere by Phoenix or somewhere in there. I'm not sure, but I'm going to be there. And going from there. So with that being said, guys, I am so happy you enjoyed the show. I'm so happy that you came in today, you participated. It's just been such a beautiful gem to be able to do this today. And I will see you all next week here on Schooled Thru Spirit with WLTK-DB.com. Have a great day, guys.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.